So we chose to make corset using the pattern Simplicity 9764. We modified it to add bra cups and straps for more comfort and do not flatten our breast too much, which is more accurate to the princess's silhouette. We use spiral boning for balance between support and mobility. They tie at the back with cording, and we added no busk at the front for better mobility. Using the same Simplicity pattern, we made the upskirt thinner for mobility and for costume accuracy. It still has enough room for 1 or 2 cats to hide underneath. We have 12mm spring steel boning in it, so it's very resistant and supports the skirts without bending. The petticoats are made using this pattern too, and a bit narrow since the upskirts is thinner. The top was made using the Simplicity 9891. We just moved the princess seam a little bit in the center, and we used satins from the same collection, but could not find a nice hot pink shade. So we dyed the light pink with red dye more twice.
You must die!
We also dyed the light orange panel and bronze with red dye more for Daisy's top, and the top closes with a zipper concealed in the white frill. For Daisy, I add a panel in the back so it can conceal the zipper since she has shorter hair. And the sleeve, our basic sleeve, that was with the pattern. We cut and split them together, them at the top and bottom. And Daisy's sleeves and collar feature hand embroidered patterns. And peach collar have hand embroidered patterns and pearl on it. Busk were self-patterned, then hand sewn to the top, lining added underneath. The skirts are separate from the top. We use Butterick B6113 as a base pattern. The skirts are tied with a ribbon and closed with a zipper. For Daisy's skirt, the orange lace was 2 types of white lace dyed in orange with dylan and red dye more. The white one was sewn onto the skirt as it is. For peach white lace, it's a combination of laces and fabric. The most time-consuming part of this project was making the appliques on the skirts and tops. We copied the patterns, used the game screenshots, and we print them. They are cut in satin fabric, then fused to the dresses with fusible web like it and bun or wonder under, and all the appliques were satin stitched with embroidery thread with a sewing machine, and it was a very long process. Making the appliques, that part alone took more than 30 hours each. So basically the wigs are made using 2 wigs we stitch together, and after it's cutting, teasing, hairspray, drying, more teasing, more hairspray, more drying, until finally it reaches the result we wanted. Every princess needs our crown and jewelry, even when they go surf. We made ours with PVC board, we curled with hot water, and we made most molds ourselves, beside peach brooch that was cast in a soap mold, and the middle of the small flowers was round molds I bought. For making the molds, we made unscaled patterns on our computers, and then we shaped the props with monster clay. The molds were made using silicone we purchased at the hardware store and cornstarch. Turns out it's a very cheap and good alternative to make a couple of castings. The gems were cast in colored resin, then backed with silver vinyl, and the flowers were cast in freeform air epoxy because it's very sturdy and very light. The flower brooch was cast in liquid plastic for a flat back, and Velcro was put underneath. The patterns on the crown were penned with puffy paint for Daisy and engraved with a Dremel for Peach crown. Every props were hand penned, and every props were varnished by hand with eyeglass varnish. For the gloves, peach gloves were stitched in stretchy fabric and lace, and the pattern was a self-made pattern. We put some bone in it to maintain its shape. For Daisy's gloves, we used a glossette glove pattern by Ameno Kitaru, then hand-painted all the flower with pearl paint and fabric medium, and the flower stems were hand-stitched with silk embroidery thread. Peach's umbrella is made by covering an umbrella with satin fabrics, and the handle was 3D print with self-made 3D models. And for last, we have the shoes. Peach shoes are flat heels shoes covered with stretchy fabric, and these shoes are high heels painted with acrylics with flex bond. For our skit, we need a cake, a mushroom, and a door, each made with a mix of cardboard boxes, styrofoam container, fabric, and pen. But we needed a real cake that can be dropped on a green screen. Oh wow! We also wanted to have a third character with us on screen, so we decided to make a puppet of Bowser Jr. The base of the puppet is a Pepakura model made with blender. It was covered with papier-mâché clay, paint, and fabric. His hair and eyebrows covered with Fentex for a more realistic feel. His eyebrows can spin with two ropes, one to make him look sad and the other angry. His arms move using metal sticks, and he was filmed in front of a blue screen to incorporate him into our video. Even his cards have eyes that can be swapped to vary its expression. We chose to film our skit in front of a green screen so we can have a cartoony background and create effects that would not be possible to do on stage. There was a lot of effort put into our post-production. We made most of it with DaVinci Resolve software. We hope you appreciate it. So thank you very much and have a happy 20th anniversary!